Maybe unmute.
I'm not muted.
I mean, I'm here now.
No, there's me right there. Right now, I'm muted. Tell me if you guys hear me. Let's see. I just heard music. So can you all hear me? Okay.
It's delayed, but
It's delayed. Okay. There we go. Now we're live. You guys said you can hear me very good. Hello, everybody. We're going to get started. I'll turn this music down. I get music had we'll play music the whole time. We won't talk about nothing. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much today for joining the Manifesting God podcast with Marie Elizabeth. Thank you so much to my iTunes listeners, my Podbean app listeners. You all who haven't registered on Podbean, go register for me so that I can up my views and everything. And also my iTunes listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Let's see. This podcast, again, it aims to uplift and thrust you into the manifest promises of God for your life. So we know we're in a new month. Last week we had an issue. We had a storm going on out here. So you guys couldn't hear us and we couldn't see you. So we're trying again. We got Lady Sheri Kit to my right and your left. So she is with us today, and you know our new series. We're talking about things that you should know. Things that you should know. So now, when we're talking about things that you should know, we want to keep in mind that there's so many people in the world who have not had the benefit of certain experiences. So I'm starting off my series with things you should know with my spiritual mother, Lady Sheri, because these are things that your mother and your father and Apostle Ken is going to blow through here eventually this month. These are things that your mother and your father should have told you. We're starting off with those, and then we're going to go down the line just to begin to educate the people of God and the simple things that I've learned everybody knows. So some people are like very spiritually aware, but when it comes to the natural, it's not lining up. So we want to begin to line it up. We want to begin to line it because we want God to be pleased with us. And sometimes we can't reach the world because we look too much like them or we act too much like them, and we haven't learned what being called aside and put aside really means and what it really looks like. So I want to begin, lady. She wouldn't hear me refer to her throughout as mom. That's probably the last time I'm saying Lady Sheri, because this is my spiritual mother. And one thing I love about her is she is herself, and I have witnessed it, a mother to the mature. And those of us who belong to Momentum International Ministries, we know that phrase because it's a phrase that kind of forces you to grow up. Yes. Because that means that she's not handing out bottles and pacifiers. So I first want to start with you talking a little bit about the type of mother that you believe yourself to be, naturally and spiritually.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. How are you? I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I consider myself to be pretty much an example mom, and I've always been that, naturally and spiritually. I like to show you what to do, tell you what to do. I was raised often by my parents, my mother and grandmother, and distant aunts and close aunts, even to, listen to what people say, but watch what they do. Yes, because that'll really tell you who they are. So I'll try to, as a parent, both naturally and spiritually, with my natural children, my spiritual children, I try to lead you by example. I want to show you the way, how to do, how to not do it, what to do, how to do a slow pace, a fast pace, however it could be, or whatever it could be. I want to pour you through life. I mean, we have that saying that you can be a mentor. I consider myself a mom tour. I want to tour you through life, try to get you to. I want to show you how to do it by example. I don't like to do what I say, not what I do. And I want you to do what I do, because what I do often is because of the mistakes I've made. I'm trying to tour you around that. You don't go that way. That's the long way.
Yes.
And you again, I don't pull carriages and I don't push buggies. So if you want to go, what you have to do is put shoes and get ready to walk. Okay, I don't carry anyone unless you're an infant. Now, babes in Christ are different unless you are really a baby. But even a babe in Christ knows right from wrong. Yes. You may not know the biblical truths, but you do know right from wrong. And there should always have been or should be a line or barrier that we should never cross. And I'm there to show you this is good. Don't go that far though, because you're a new creature in Christ. Right. So I'm an example. I'm a mom tour, not a mentor. A mom tour. For men as well, not just for women, but even men. Yes. Even men. I can tour you and show you. This is how you do. This is the way to, don't do that with your wife. Don't do that. Or do this with your sons or daughters or etc. But I show you by example. So not a whole lot of talking always. I'm not that much of a talker, believe it or not. Even though I'm talking tonight, I'm not that much of a talker. I do a lot more walking than I do talking.
Yeah. Well, when you think about, like you said, like I'm telling you, you sounded like you're basically saying you make a decision that you want to be mentored or mothered, in that mature fashion. What happens when you bump up the person, the male or the female, that doesn't want it? Like, and when I say doesn't want it, I mean like not like the way I am. I can say for me, I'm like, I can do it myself. I want to do something. Like, not that child that wants to be independent, because you can kind of guide them, I imagine. But what about the person who doesn't want the mother, and you clearly see them going the wrong way? Are you able to? How do you interject that example?
I generally do this.
Really?
I'm fine with that. Because if you're not ready, again, I don't pull. I don't push. And there will become a time, generally, with your walk through Christ, or with your walk with Christ, or your journey through and to maturity, you'll get to a place where you're prepared and you want to. But I because if you push someone or pull them, they'll rebel. And what will end up happening is it will exhaust you.
Yes.
So if you're not prepared and if you're not ready, you can't potty train a smoker.
Yes.
They're not ready. When they're prepared and when they're ready, then you can then get them to do. It's no different than anything else. It comes with time. It comes with maturity. And it comes with preparedness. Yeah. Sometimes you're not prepared. You may have had, for example, a very unnatural or very hard or very brash or just a bad experience with your natural mother and or mothers, whether it be it could be a foster mother, it could be a natural mother. Yes. So you're resistant to a mother and you're resistant to that. Well, okay, I'm fine with that. When you're ready, I'm here. And you can find me. I'm always
and it's
that
almost
person.
Like your example is still leading them, whether they know it or not.
Absolutely.
You know, because you choose to walk it out. You're being led, whether you realize it or not. Right. You have shifted and you have changed and you have matured, and not because you wanted to, but simply because you were in the right position. At the right time. At the right time. And I'm saying that to young ladies to say, allow you might be resistant because there is people do have experience. Sure. And not all of them good. You know, I grew up, I only had one set of foster parents. So that's all I knew. So I wasn't the one that went from home to home. So I was very used to a family atmosphere. Whereas some people, they're not used to that. There's a way that I've seen you lead those people without saying a word. without saying a word, because they don't even realize that they're positioned properly for the mother, or they're positioned properly for the father. And I can even say that of Dad. He's Apostle. He has mentored and pushed me and moved me only because when I didn't want to be, but I was still positioned to be.
You were there.
You were,
and pliable.
Yes,
and
pliable, and
and
as he says, teachable. He says teachable. Now tell me, like you're now, even though you're a mother to the mature, so when people come to you for those conversations, for advice and everything like that, so how do you go about giving them that advice without overstepping, but still giving them that room to make a decision? Like, how do you position that person to be able to receive from you?
Well, many times I always start with a question.
Okay.
And that question is, do you want me to help you, or do you want me to co-sign on what you've already decided to do?
Wow. Okay.
Because most times when people come to you, or many times people come to you, they already have their minds made up. And they just want you to co-sign with what they've already
had their minds made up. Are they have they ever come back to you and try to blame?
Oh, lots of times. Because it's easier.
Okay.
It's easier to blame someone else than to come outside of yourself. And I'm and then at that point, I'm really good at parroting, because I can remember our conversation. And I will remind you, but do you remember when I said XYZ and ABC? And you might get a hard, okay, we're right there. You had already made a decision.
Yeah.
You remember when we've had our very first sit down and our very first conversation, I asked you, do you want me to help you, or do you want me to co-sign for you?
That's good, right?
And many times you'd be surprised. Most of the time, people just want you to co-sign. Really? I've already made this decision. I just want to check with you. Is this okay? Is that okay? Is that all right? Is that okay? And if I say, I wouldn't do that, because I do. I do not tell you what to do, but I will guide you and say, that might not be the best thing for you to do, and I'm going to make a few suggestions, and I may say, this might be a better way, or that might be a better way, but ultimately, the choice is yours. That this has given us that freedom.
Yes,
the freedom to choose.
Yes, he has.
You know, our salvation is we come to him. He doesn't knock down now.
Right.
He might be down, but if you get up and keep walking the other way, he again is not going to tug, he's let me tell you, Christ is a gentleman.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And I follow his example. So if he's a gentleman, then I'm going to be a lady about it, and I'm going to allow you to make your own decision. But it's also a decision. Make sure and understand you have to live it.
Yes.
You have to walk this decision out.
Yes, that's yours. And that's all yours.
It is all yours. And if it's not the greatest decision, you're going to have to read that. Yes. Understand that you are going to have to read that. And I'll be there with you. I'll rub your back. But understand it was your decision.
You don't get a massage. That's all you get.
I was okay with the fact that you met this guy, even though we could see 10 miles down the road, this is a bad decision. Or making this move, or doing this or that, or taking that job because it's more money. All money's not good money. And a raise in salary is also a raise in responsibility.
Yes, it is.
So,
yes, it is.
If you're bogged down or tired from whatever the case, decisions are, and you have to walk it out. Walk it out.
Now, when you mentioned something there, like you said, you basically are asking them, okay, do you want help, or do you want? What exactly did you come to me for?
Right.
Now, talk about receiving that advice. Now, maybe you have an experience that you can share. How should advice, or how should a mother, especially a spiritual mother, how should that person be read? When you're talking about advising a person and guiding a person, how should I receive that? Like, for those of you, for those on the call who don't have, or on the line that have never had that, they might not have a spiritual mother. They might not recognize it. They might have a bad experience, but they want to position themselves to receive it. They just can't get past themselves. So how do they humble themselves to get to that?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer, because again, that goes along with their level of maturity and their journey and their walk. Because we've all had bad experiences, and I got married at a time where I had had prior relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and my husband had had prior relationships. We both were hurt from those prior relationships,
Yeah.
or we still have been in those relationships.
Yes, that's right.
But there comes a time when you have to say, okay, that was then. That was the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that was who I was then. And that was what I did then, or that was what I heard then. And then you have to make a choice. It's all about the
Mm-hmm.
choices that we make. And when you
Mm-hmm.
come, if you come to me for advice,
Yes.
or as I have, like, I'll just use myself as an example. I, many years ago, was advised by my assistant pastor, by a mother in the church, Pastor Paul Earl Shepherd. I will call his name because he, like, I mean, when I say pivotal in my life and in making a decision in my life and about my life, it was I had no question. He gave me, and actually gave me, advice about what to do. Now, it was up to me to take that advice.
Yes.
But I trusted him enough as my spiritual leader. I didn't think twice. I did exactly what he had suggested that I do. I'm the better for it. Look at me now.
Yes.
I'm the better for it.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean that I would have gone to hell if I hadn't taken his advice. You know, it would have been the worst thing in the world. I mean, we're in a beautiful room here, and my blessings may have filled this room.
Yes.
But following the advice of a spiritual leader that had my best interest at heart, my blessings may encompass this whole house versus the whole room. So, you know, God's not going to kill you because you don't take the advice of a spiritual mother or a spiritual father. But then understand, here again, you have to live with the consequences of what you've done or what the decisions that you've made. Don't jump off of a roof because you made a wrong decision, because, again, you'll get the chances again. The chance will come around again, and then at that point, make a different decision. Because all through life we make decisions. You know, we decide what we eat.
Yes.
So you know, if we're overweight because we've eaten too much ice cream, guilty sometimes. I love ice cream. It's my favorite dessert in the entire world. But I do know how to say, okay, sis, it's time to put the spoon down. I mean, if you go down the freezer and you realize you've eaten a whole half gallon of ice cream, that's not anybody else's fault.
Too much.
That's all on you.
So, all on you.
Don't go back to the supermarket and say, you sold me this ice cream. Well, you bought the ice cream. So,
and you mentioned something there, because it's almost like you're saying, eventually, even through all your hurt and everything, you have to trust someone. You know, especially if you've been all this time leaning to your own understanding. Think about where it got you. Look at that person's life. You know, God gives us discernment. Look at that person's life. Should you get maybe possibly they might be trying to tell you something that can help you and save your life. You know, so that's why I wanted to touch on that, like receiving advice, because sometimes we don't want to hear from nobody, we pick and choose who we want to hear from. When the truth of the matter is, just step back and look at that person's life. Is there a guy in serving them well? Are they moving forward, and are you standing still? Well, I think maybe you might want to take a chance.
That's right.
And listen to what they have to say. Absolutely. You might want to hear their advice. Now, when you're like this day and age, the generation is extremely clear, and maybe it was like that when I was growing up, and I just missed it because I was growing up. But it's really defined now. And when we talk about going from the different, like I'd say, I guess maybe going from that teenager to that young woman, that 21 and over, and then that 26 and over woman, and maturing. What advice can we give to that generation, those younger generations, that might help them to be able to? Because a lot of children today, I noticed that, the single parent homes, that's the majority now. The left at home, the latchkey, raising themselves. So they're not too keen on listening to anyone. They already think they know. So how do we reach the already thing you know?
But that is the problem. They don't listen. You guys that are younger, you have to listen. Because one thing that you fail to understand, if you're 16 and your mother's, let's say 36, 46, She's already been 16. You've never been 46. You've never been 36. When a older person or a more experienced person is telling you something, it's because we've already been there and we've already seen it. It's no different than, if you're 16 or 17 and you're babysitting a niece or a cousin and they're walking over and it's going to burn. Don't touch that. Don't touch that. You see the baby burn and they hit your hand. They're still going to do it and they're going to get burned. And you feel so bad for them. It's the same situation. Yeah. We are telling you something, not to keep you from anything. Because understand something. We've all been 16. Yes. Maria and I have been 16. Yes.
We didn't come into the world adults.
And we snuck and did some stuff too.
No, I didn't.
However, yes, you did. However, again, I think in the era, as you said, with the generation gap, in the era we came up, we actually knew the defining line.
Yes.
We did.
We knew. Yes.
This was a particular line that you didn't cross. And even though we weren't always necessarily brought up in church,
right?
You knew this. I'm not going that far. I'm not going to go that far. That is just a little too far. And I think you guys go to prove that you can do it better than we are. We can. But we've outlived you already.
Yes.
Because we've already been there. We've already had the same friends. We've already heard the same lies. We've already perfected every excuse
that
you can come up with.
Yes, we have.
Because sometimes I can, like for my grandchildren, I can rehearse the excuse and the lie before they even tell me. And it's just so comical. But if you listen, we're not trying to keep you from anything except hurt, harm, and danger.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to keep you from. And if you understand something in your life, if you're from 1 to 20, you got to at least double or more than that to live. So there's plenty of time to do whatever it is you think you're doing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of sex in your whole life. There's plenty of that coming. There's plenty of time to travel. There's plenty of time to do all the things that you think were keeping you from doing. There's plenty of time. Now, music has been there long before we came.
Yes. Yeah.
It'll still be here. Clubs, juke joints, whatever you want to call it. They were here long before we got here.
Yes.
And they'll still be there.
They'll still be there.
Trust me, they'll still be there. All of those things that you think are the best thing to do. I want to get a drink. Alcohol's not going anywhere. It'll be there. And the other stuff. Puff. It's not going anywhere. Not the best thing for you. I'm telling you as a mother. Example. This is 60.
Yeah.
But this comes from not puffing, passing.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
If you want to look like a 40-year-old when you're 60, stop puffing, passing.
Yeah.
There are just things that we know. It's just no good to it. It just doesn't come out as a good income. It just doesn't come out as a good outcome. If we, have people you're so in love with this person or that person, so was I. But I'm not married to any of those guys.
How about that? How about that?
When I look at some of them now, I say, whoa, thank God I wasn't so in love that I said I do to the wrong person. Because those were the people I could have said and did say, I don't. I don't. So we're not keeping you from anything. And always understand when we come as spiritual mothers, as natural mothers, as mothers of the church, or just seniors in the church, it's coming from a place of love. And a place of love because all you have to do is what I was instructing you to do in the beginning. Watch their lives.
Yes.
Now, you do not want to get marital advice from a couple that fight every day.
Right.
I mean, if they come into church and they're always fighting, that's not necessarily the best people to take advice from. But if you know a good couple, you've watched them from afar, or you've watched how they raise their children, and you're a single mother, these are the people to seek advice.
Right.
You want to seek, because even me, I've never been a single mother, a single parent. Fortunately, I had my children when he was in the house. But if I know a single mother that's done it and done well, I'm going to trust me to direct you to someone that knows how to do it and has done it well and has stars behind their mother name.
Yes.
So it's, again, be open to taking advice. And again, I heard Cyrus say when I cast he was on.
Yeah.
Vice versa, then we have to sometimes shut it up and listen.
Yes.
And
yes.
say, well, you're right. I never experienced it.
Mhm.
I don't know how to maybe maneuver that. But what I would suggest is X, Y, and Z, A, B, C.
Right.
You know, let's do it this way. Let's give it a minute. Let's sit quietly. Let's pray about it. Let's seek the word about it
Mhm.
because I don't know everything.
Right. Right.
But what I do know and will share with you, and I will help you. We can maneuver this together.
Mhm.
It's uncharted territory. Well, then let's put our boots on and let's create a new path.
Yeah.
Because then I may you next time to help someone else.
Exactly. Can you talk a little bit about something said there? It just reminded me. It made me think of the benefits of boundaries because some people don't have anyone. Some of the people that write me, they don't have parents and they don't even go to church, and and they're asking me things like, well, I'm only 26 and I haven't even dated yet.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that looks like. And so to talk to them and they're listening about boundaries and how it's okay to set them for yourself.
Absolutely.
And about that, what should they look like? Staying away from what you don't know per se, and still being able to cover yourself. Now we talked about different ones. We talked about you and I just now talked about being okay with listening and hearing from others, but if they don't have the others yet.
Yeah.
It's
hard, but you can, and most of you have already done that, even those that don't have boundaries, because if you don't know, you'll seek it out, just like you said. People that write you, they're looking for the help.
Yes.
So they're asking for the help. So when people are reaching out to help, it's okay to reach back.
Yes.
But again, if the help is being sent out, then it's your responsibility to accept it.
It's your responsibility.
You just really have to accept it and understand it, because you're right. Some people were born, I used to say, some people are just fed and grow. Just, I'm going to just feed you and let you like a wild weed. And you don't understand boundaries.
Right.
But on the other hand, you do. Because you also know, we also know you can see a baby that's just toddling. They may go to the edge of that step and they always turn around and look at you.
Yes. Is that okay?
Because they know, you know what, this might not be a good idea. And they do. And you can say, stop, don't go to those steps, don't go to the. So you do know, like, where to go. And it's okay to set boundaries for yourself.
Right.
Even if none were ever set for you. You always, because again, in our lives, there are many people around us.
Yes.
We grow in gardens. So there's, a lot of people around us, and okay, I've seen Peggy do this, or Brenda do that. Well, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. Or I've seen my mom do this, or I've seen my dad or my uncles do that, and I've seen my brother go this way or that way. And it's okay to say, no, I'm okay. If you haven't started dating, maybe you're not ready to date.
Right.
And if you're fearful of dating, that's okay too. But then that's when you seek out a wise woman and you ask questions and you listen, because we've already done that. We've already been there. We've already done that. And, many times I think sometimes a disservice elder is we hold on too tight.
Yes.
And then our children do not have, or we raise adults that have zero life experience beyond us in their ear all the time. So when they grow up, they have no idea how to make decisions for themselves. And it's okay to do that. One of the things I did in raising my children was I allowed them to make mistakes while they were at home and under our umbrella, so that when they made those mistakes, we were there. Okay, get under the umbrella. You're still here. You can make those mistakes. Some of them did. A couple of them did very well. A couple of them, oops. Okay, well, here you go. You're home. You can repair that.
Yes.
So again, you seek out wisdom from wise people.
Yes.
That's the way to go, and that's the way to do it. Now, wisdom does not always come from your peers. I will say that, because they're struggling with the same thing you're struggling with. It's better to ask someone who's already been there, done that, someone who has had experience. And it doesn't always have to be a woman.
Right.
Because
right.
if you're interested in dating, sometimes it is wise to ask a man,
Mm-hmm.
what should I expect from this gentleman? Because if they're serving your best interest, they'll be honest with you and they'll tell you.
Yeah.
They'll tell you.
Yeah.
My husband is very good at telling women or helping young women to say, do not accept it. Don't accept that from a man. That's a lie. This is, that it's okay to do that. Believe us when we tell you.
Could you believe it?
Us,
Yeah. Don't just run head on into the wall. I mean, please. We're gonna pray that when you run into a path, it won't kill you, but we appreciate it if you not go head full force into that wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now tell me, so what is some of the best advice that you believe you've ever received? Besides pastors. I remember talking about him earlier.
Well, that's one of them. That was a good example.
That you can share that somebody might benefit from.
I was in a bad relationship. I was in that relationship for a long time. And he came and said to me one Sunday, it was after service, and I will not go into particulars. And he said to me in a very straight face, and if you know the person, he's just not emotional. He said, I need you to see me tomorrow in the office right after work. And I was like, oh my, what did I do? Anyway, I went to his office and said, didn't stop for gas, a drink, nothing. No soda, no water, no nothing. Nothing. I went and he gave me some very good advice. And he said, if I were you, and he never said to me, this is what you must do. He said, if I were you, I would X, Y, Z, and I would do it today. I walked out of his office and I did it. Great advice. Never, ever, ever did I have one moment of regret from that. Another situation was I was also in that same ministry, a mother in the ministry. I was in same particular relationship, actually. And she said to me, I dare you not to fight. I dare you not to fight back. She said, because if you get in it, God doesn't have to fight for you because you're fighting for yourself. That's the advice I ever got in my whole entire life because it was true. When I stopped fighting and I took my hands off it and I sat back and I was like, oh, this is the bomb advice. And then also worldly advice that I always heard this saying was, the best revenge is living well.
Yeah.
That is the best advice you could give to anyone in any situation, whether it's your mom that threw you away, your dad that threw you away, an aunt or uncle that threw you away, or doubted you, or, the best advice is living well.
Yes.
And when you see them again, make sure your head is held high.
Oh, yes.
Make sure it's held high. And I think finally, the don't quit where you eat. Don't date somebody you work with or live near or live around. It just is not a great idea, folks. It's not a good idea because it doesn't always work out well. And then this is someone you have to see every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but most of the time, we're not the exception. We're the rule. We are the rule. So those bits and pieces of advice I will always consider the best I've ever gotten. And I would say top in the charts would probably be don't fight.
Yeah.
Don't fight. I dare you not to fight. Because if you don't, if you take your gloves off and you sit back and, let God do what he's going to do in your life. If you're a saved individual and you love him and you believe you have a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, he is in your corner. You don't have to do anything except say, yes, Lord, and sit back and let him do what he can do it better than you anyway.
Yes, way better. Way much more thorough.
You'll sit back and say, yeah, I'm not even thinking like that. Well, that was good. Thank you, Father. That was good. So
oh my God.
That's the best advice. Don't fight back.
Yeah. And that's hard for some of us.
Yeah,
ladies, it's hard for some of us.
Absolutely.
We got mouth. If I ain't gonna fight you with my hand, I'm gonna whoop you with my mouth. I'm gonna find a way. And I've just had learned, hey, it's really
the quieter you get, the louder he gets.
Yes,
it's so satisfying. It really is satisfying because it's not always he's going to get you back in a bad way, but your life will become so much more enriched. And you will grow much more as an individual when you learn to just say, okay, it's out of my hands. Wash your hands of it, send it back into the atmosphere, and leave it alone. Turn your back and walk away.
Now that's some wisdom right there. That will age us because I mean, it seems like now the older I get more like I found myself more like, hey, think what you want to say, and that's
exactly.
You know. But when I was younger, oh my goodness, anybody that grew up with me knows my mother's backhand was always in my mouth. I had to make my point, and she was like, "One day you're going to learn." Nobody cares. Relax. It's going to take care of itself. It's going to take care of itself. Okay, so now, how about this? What is it that you wish somebody would have told you?
What do I wish someone had told me? I wish someone would have told me that I think one of the things that we all about or don't think about younger is that it gets better with age.
Yeah.
It gets better with
age. Don't think about that. Don't think about tomorrow.
You just think, at age I'm gonna be old, but we're not the same old as our parents were.
Right.
We're not the same old.
That's right.
And I think it gets better, and that patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
Patience is a virtue.
Wait on it.
It's also a fruit of the spirit. Patience. Patience.
Yeah.
And if you just sit down and you just wait on him to do it, it's just he works in ways we can't imagine because we're not him. I mean, trust me, I have been on the side of, well, let me help you out this time because I can do it a little. I know these people, so I can do it in there. I just hate these people, so he knows more than I know. But I think that is really one of the things. Be patient, and it's better. It does get better. And it sometimes gets worse, so don't give up when it gets worse. But sometimes you need that worse to let go of some things, to let go of some people, to get people out of your life, to understand that people come and go in your life in seasons.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay. Some people are just seasonal.
It's okay to let go.
It's okay to let go. It doesn't mean that there's a bad breakup. It doesn't mean that there's bad blood between you. It doesn't mean that I'll never speak to you again.
Yeah.
But it just means you were here for my winter. And I appreciate that so much. But it's summer.
Yeah.
It's summer now. So we don't do the same things. We share our clothes. We wear shorts, we wear coats and kimonos and hats and gloves. And so sometimes there are people in our lives that help us, that guide us through. Yeah. But just hold on to the rooted people in your life. Yeah. Always hold on to them. Those that have always loved you, good and ugly. The friends that have loved you, good, bad, and ugly. The people that you don't call every day, that you don't have to talk to every day. I don't have time for those people. When you called me today, I didn't have time.
Right. I was living life.
Yeah, I was living life. I was coloring. Yeah. I was watching some Netflix today. I was, doing whatever. I was playing jacks. I was shampooing my hair.
I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah, it never occurred to me to let me call.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm not the cling. I am not saran wrap. I don't cling. I don't cling. That makes me crazy. But there are people in our lives that are rooted. And those are the people we don't see all the time.
Right. That's true.
They're not always there, but when we need them,
they're right
we
there.
can find them. And those are our, our wise people, those old people that love us and that have cared for us. And our friends, sometimes our peers, sometimes it could be your husband, it could be, that friend that knew you from third grade. And, I have a friend of mine, Carol and I, we will die with each other.
I know you.
We will. And it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And be someone that I don't talk to her every day.
Right.
I don't talk to her every month. And sometimes we stay in contact maybe at Christmas once every year, and that's good. But if I know I need to run, and I know I need to hide, I know exactly where to go.
Wow. Yes.
And
yes.
that's important.
Yes,
That
it
is very important. So I would say, they're in the best advice I've ever gotten is pretty much those things. Be patient, wait on the Lord to do it, and hold on to the rooted people in your life and understand people will come and go in your life, but it's just a season. You'll see them again. You'll see them again, and you'll just have peace. You just want peace in your life as you get older. You just want peace. You don't want to be afraid every time the phone rings. You don't want to be afraid, like, what is this drama? Even if it's family members. When you see their number, ignore. Because you know when you pick up the phone, it's drama. Drama. And it's funny, but not funny. But sometimes there's certain people in your family, when they call, somebody died.
Yeah, like, every time they call, somebody died. They call for nothing else.
So, okay, this is the person that carries those. And I have cousins in my life. And I am very close to my family. I'm very close. I love both sides. My maternal side, my paternal side, my cousins and I, on my mother's side, grew up, and my dad's side. We grew up more like brothers and sisters than we did cousins. So no matter what, I don't have to talk to them. I don't have to call them, but I know I have every number in this phone. And if I call one of them, it's like a chain. It's like, okay, we got to get to Delaware. We got to get up. And it's the same way. If we need help, okay, I'm coming. Okay, we're doing so and so. I'm not always the first call because I'm still not as I should be sometimes. So I'm not the person that they always call, depending on what it is. With a pistol. Yeah. I might not. Sometimes they call me after it's time. Oh, what happened? See, this is why we didn't call you. You're a little ignorant right now. But we love you, but we knew we're not gonna call you yet. It's just the way it is. But I think that's just life. Choose people wisely in your life that you can count on, and that really that you can, not that just count on you, but that you can count on. And understand it's okay. It's okay sometimes to be that way and to love people that way, but love people enough to let them go when it's time.
Because sometimes people hold on to their detriment.
And it's just, if they're there or in your life for a period of time, and think of them as a potted plant. Sometimes they're planted in your life for here, but if their roots get so entangled that they can't grow anymore, they'll die. Right. So they have to move on, and so do you. When you come back together, it's a joyous reunion. It's a joyous reunion, and that's okay. Even in our spiritual lives, sometimes I can't tell you the last time I had a prayer partner.
I don't think I've ever had that, but
I can still pray. That's not necessary in our spiritual walk to always have a prayer partner. If you have a relationship with the Lord, you didn't. If you think about it this way, if you grew up in a home where you had more than one sibling, you grew up in a home, you have more than one sister to say, let's call mom.
Right.
When you wanted mom, you called mom.
Exactly.
So when you want dad, you call dad.
Yes. You don't need nobody to hold your hand and take you to
the don't need no one to call
you. You have access. You have access
alone. And if you have that relationship and you've cultured that relationship where you just don't go to God when you're in trouble.
Right.
You shouldn't have a problem. One of the things I always say in my ministry is that God is not your bail bondsman.
Right.
You cannot call him just to get you out of trouble.
That you got you into because you didn't listen.
Because he sees your number 2 and hit ignore. Because I know this is just some drama and I'm not doing it today.
What I really like about what you said is it transcends all generations.
It does.
So whether you're 16, whether you're 26, whether you're 32, you have to choose people that are solid to be a part of your life. You have to understand and know and with your relationship with God, so that you're not just contacting him when you need him, and you have to recognize that every phase of your life, sometimes you got to let people go, and sometimes it becomes dangerous for you when you keep people with you. that you should have let go of. I've seen kids, just young kids, you know, come out of a juvie, and they go back to the crowd. They didn't intend to, but next thing you know, they're back in again because they couldn't let go, because they couldn't help. And it's okay. And sometimes, yes, people feel it's going to be hurt. Sometimes it's going to be a little pain to let go.
But give it some time. Yeah, you'll come back together because it stunts both of your growth.
Yes,
there's things that you have to do. There are things that they have to do, and in that situation, sometimes you do outgrow another.
Yeah,
that's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's just that in your experience or experiences, you've matured at a more rapid pace than they have, but they'll catch up.
Yeah, and then sometimes you, like you said, you're back together again. But then if you didn't let go when you should have let go, now somebody's in danger.
You're both suffocating.
Yeah.
You're both suffocating because you'll be constantly trying to pull them up. They'll be constantly trying to pull you down. Or it's a tug of war, and that's not healthy for anyone.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. And it has to be. You have to let it be okay.
Oh yeah.
You have to choose to move forward with your life. Choose your relationships. You have to do that. And you have to understand that as you grow, like Mom said, well, that person will grow too. And years down the road, you come back together and see how you're able to pick up with each other because you both matured. You both learned some things. So for those of you out there that are still holding on to something that's killing you, giving you bad advice, taking you in the wrong direction because they can't even advise you because you're on different levels. You're on different levels. It's okay to it's okay to back away.
It is okay.
It's okay to back away because some people, I mean, I'm getting that they holding on to stuff that's killing them because they don't have anyone else and they've never been alone.
Well, you won't have anyone else if you don't broaden your
horizon.
Right. Because you're still holding on to this. But if you let that go and let's say go to another room, you'll find, oh, wow, there's some stuff I never saw before. That's because you stayed here.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to move on, move away, go away, stay away.
Yes.
Stay away. And you can find it, wow, there's more to life than this. I mean, there's, I was talking to a person a few weeks ago, and I'm from Philly, proudly. And I was talking to this young lady, and we were talking about food, and I said, the one thing I'm so much about Philly is food. I love Philly food. Oh my God.
At all times.
I will drive to get my Philly food. If I'm craving a real cheesesteak, I'm driving an hour, and so an hour plus to get my cheesesteak or whatever it is. And she said to me, really? Is it that good? I said, for me it is. And she said, because I've never eaten outside of Delaware. I've never had food outside of Delaware. And I said,
she missing out.
Are you I stuttered. Just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Never. So again, I was like, wow, I have got to blow your mind and extend your world of food because you've never. And again, relating that to people and persons in our life and experiences in our lives.
Yes.
If you never move beyond what you're accustomed to, you'll never really understand.
You'll never do it.
There's a whole world out there.
Yes.
There's I mean, if you've never left the U.S. or your tri-state or your city or your town or your borough or your zip code, there's so much world out here. There's so much. Listen, let me explain. Let me tell you. Our Father, which art in heaven, did not create this world.
Right, for you to stay.
For you to stay on the step and drink a Pepsi. No, there's so much. Go to an island. Go to another country. Get a passport.
Yes.
Get a passport. Experience what it's like to get your passport stamped. Be a world traveler. And you don't have to do it every year, but get on an airplane. Go somewhere you've never been before. Go somewhere you've heard was beautiful.
Yes, right.
And just doing those kinds of things will expand even your way of thinking.
Yes.
Because you'll realize, wow, there are beaches that actually have blue water.
Yes.
We color blue water, but you've never seen blue water. If you stay on the East Coast, you've never seen blue water. You've seen blue in the bottom of a pool, but that's paint.
Right,
It's not really water.
That's right.
You want to go to a beach where there's blue water, there's crystal blue water, where you can walk out and up to your waist and actually look down and see your feet. But if you just sit in your neighborhood and you just sit around your friends, and if all you guys do is, we're going to, not that they're bad, we're going to go to this beach or that beach.
Yeah.
Okay, look, go move. There's a lot of world there for us to see. Right now, we're in COVID, and so we're not traveling as much or as frequently as but it'll be over. When it's over, that's your homework. For those of you that your homework is go somewhere. Get on a plane and go to an island. Let's start baby steps. Yeah. Let's go to an island.
Yes.
Go to the U.S. Virgin Islands. So then you can kind of still get Americanized food. It's a little more Americanized. Go somewhere.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Meet some
yourself.
new people.
Yeah. Go to California. Somewhere. If you've never been out of the East Coast, or if you're in the West Coast and you're listening, if you've never traveled east, come see.
Yeah.
Come see it in the fall, where you can really see what the changing leaves look like in the fall, and just different things. I need you all to. That's your homework.
Yeah.
I'm giving
you
homework.
Get out and meet some different people.
That's
do
the
some
teacher
different
in me.
things. Yeah.
You got some homework.
Yeah.
Travel more. Get on go on Expedia or wherever you go to travel. Make some plans. Make some plans to expand your work. Then you come back, you have a different conversation.
And see, you know what? This is why some of us cannot be what God called us to be, because we can't even live life outside of our box. Right. So we can't comprehend God naturally in our little box. True. So we definitely can't comprehend Him spiritually. No. So when He's telling you, I have A, B, C, and D for you, you can't comprehend that spiritually, because naturally you can only comprehend A. Absolutely. You've had the same friends since you've been a child. You haven't been around anybody else. Right. The people at work try to invite you to dinner or the group dinners. Right. You won't do that. You're just so sanctified. You won't do anything outside of your comfort zone. Absolutely. And then you wonder why you can't be what God called you to be. Right. Well, you can't even live. You haven't even managed to live a successful life as a human being. Right. You haven't even managed to live in the natural. Right. So that's why you live spiritually. Absolutely. So you have to expand your borders, is what Lady Sheri is saying. Absolutely. We're stuck. We're stuck. We want to get into these churches. You know I had to come back. We want to get into these in such a hurry to get back into church, and you can get back around the familiar, get back around the same people, get the same pitiful advice that's going to leave you parked at the same pew that you've had for the past 5 years, past 2 years. You don't want to talk to anybody. Right. If one of your sisters in your world traveler and she's like, hey sis, I'm going over to Israel for a trip. Do you want to go? Yes. We can partner and we can go. Yeah. You won't even do that. She's too worldly for you. But she's prophesying all over the country. And you're still sitting in the same pew seat you've been in for years. Right. Grow up. Right. See what Lady Sheri is saying applies spiritually as well. How about you let go of some of your old habits that you've been carrying around for years, things that He taught you that you've been doing for years. How about we let some of that stuff go? And then how about we get around some God people that are moving and they're going and they're walking in the promises of God? How about we get around those people instead of the gossiping Sister Sally that we couldn't wait to get back to? How about we do some of those things? Yeah. See, this is not just a conversation of things in the natural that your mother should have told you, but listen to what Mom is saying to you. She's telling you quite a bit spiritually too. For sure. Yeah. Because all of it translates. Yes, it does. It all translates. I mean, it's you can't continue again the definition of insanity. You can't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. I mean, again, like you said, you're just trying to get back into those four walls, and you sit in the same pew and sing the same. First of all, why are you still picking up Emily? You don't know those words yet, right? You've been singing the same song for years, and even some your apostle, your bishop, your pastor says a certain scripture. You shouldn't even have to go to that scripture. Right? You should be quoting it by now. You don't know that. Yes, yes.
There's just certain things in life, but if you just sit there, because and part of what I'm saying is part of broadening your borders,
yes,
and expanding and traveling and doing things differently, moving about and just leaving this particular familiar all the time.
yes,
It makes the scriptures come alive to
yes.
you. And things you can say, that's what he meant.
Yes.
That's what the word means. That's because a mistake that you don't want to do, you don't want to just get your spiritual teaching from the pulpit. That's why we have our own Bibles.
Right.
Search scriptures for yourself. Read for yourself. Search for yourself. Study for yourself.
Right.
So that you can understand sometimes what pastor's saying.
Right.
Because sometimes, and when you study, I have known this, positively, this has happened. When you have a relationship and you study the word and you listen to the word and you hear from God, sometimes that's what we do.
Yes.
And it's no. Sometimes we're so busy praying and talking to God, we don't take the time to listen.
Right.
And sometimes it's just in that still quiet voice, he will tell you what you need to know. And when you study on your own and seek him for yourself and learn him for your own, it'll sometimes be more than not just information.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was the right thing. I wasn't sure. Oh, that's what you meant by X, Y, and Z. Or, well, I love her, and I just can't take the drama anymore. Something will come across the message, and it could come across the message like we're doing now, virtually.
Yes.
Where you're sitting in your own home, and you can say, see, yep, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I needed it. Yeah. I needed, because that's what it is. He confirms.
Yes, he does.
What is in our lives. Don't just wait for the prophet.
Right.
Speak a word.
Especially not in this day.
Not in this day. Yeah. Because most of the time, just the prophet is coming to for your pocket. Yeah. That's what he or she, they're coming for your pocket.
That's it. They're not going to really tell you the truth.
They're not coming to tell you anything that you didn't already know, or they're trying to impart in you wishes and dreams that we all have. I'm like, nothing specific. That's general.
Right.
General.
That's
So
right. That's right.
That's general.
That's right.
Okay, X, Y, and there's things like that. That's why it's important. And it's just nothing more important than a spiritual walk that is pure. Yes. You have to have that walk, to have that relationship. Mine is different from my husband.
Right. That's
Apostle
right.
Richard,
that's
right. From my walk, because I was saved at a specific time. He was saved at a specific time. Our experiences are different. Right. His walk is different from our walk. And we're still both a saved couple. We live together. We love the same Lord. We serve the same Lord. Right. But that's why it's individual. It's individual. All of it individual. And that's why it's important to hunker down. Yes. And say, this is between me and you, God. Yes. This is between me and you. And have that relationship. But it's more important to listen to him. Yes. Listen, he'll tell you things. Sometimes it's a verb. Sometimes it's a proverb. Sometimes see somebody like walk by you and give you a word. Yeah. In Walmart. Thank you, Lord. See, I needed that, and you can just talk to him like, "Thank you, I needed that. I thank you so much. I needed that." And that's why it's important. I always say that. Yes. Christianity, spirituality, salvation is very individual. Yes. It's individual. Yes. You can't be saved for your children. Right. I can't be saved for my kids. My children for sure can't be saved for me. That's right. I can't be saved for my husband, vice versa. You can't be saved for your best friend. If you get saved and your best is saved, love her. That's okay. She's not ready. It's okay. You don't have to hate her. You have to stop calling her.
She may grow. She may mature.
Let her watch your life blossom and bloom, and eventually she'll come to you and say, "Wow, you are so at peace now. You're different." That's my walk with the Lord. Examples are always the best way to go. Yes, yes, always the best way to go.
I agree. And where we're at right now, people, God is calling now for movement. Oh, yeah. He's calling us to not be stagnant any longer. We've been taught, we've been groomed, we've been dressed. Everything, clothes pressed, everything, but nobody ain't going nowhere. No. And that's what's happened to us naturally. This is so I know that it's happening in the spirit. That's what this series is about. This, but there are things that we need to know to literally shove us out of the nest. Absolutely. And so we couldn't hear it when so and so said it. We couldn't hear it when this person said it. So now I'm gonna bring people to the microphone to say those things that we need to hear that you've been told before. Not that you don't know them, you just brushed it off because it came from a source that you've been brushing off. See, we've been brushing off the men and the women of God that God has set before us to grow us up. We've been taking them casually. We've been taking them for granted. So now God is saying, I'm going to send some people that don't know you, that don't care anything about you, that don't care about your status, and I'm going to have them toss your nest over. That nest you built up in the tree, little birdie, I'm going to have them just jingle it right on down and have you fall on the ground. And you either going to fly and move or you're going to die right here. Yeah. This is the way this works. You have to make a decision. It is decision time. It is time to move. Now, we can keep talking about it, but guess what? We're only going to label you as the talker. You're the person that got the passport, but you didn't go nowhere.
No stamps.
You don't have no stamps. You don't have no stamps. You know why? Because you're still rooted and grounded in the same people doing the same stuff. You don't want to grow up. You don't want to mature. You want to go in a circle. But I'm here to tell you, I'm here to tell you the real prophet, the real prophet is they're telling you, grow up or die here. This is what we're doing. We're crossing over. Now you can either go or you can die right here. This is the way this works. This is the way this works. This is what God is requiring of us. Maturity. It's time to pick a new set of friends. It's time to be in the room with some people that are smart. Stop staying around people that can't tell you nothing.
The smartest one in the room. Time to find a new room.
It's time for a new room. It's time for some new friends.
Yes, absolutely.
It's time for you to get out of the same room, the same seat you've been in. Why do you think that the church have been closed?
Yeah.
God's saying, I'm trying to move you another seat.
Yeah. He's trying to tell you something.
Come
listen
on.
to me. Listen to me right now.
Yes.
Get all the chatter out of your ears and listen to me one-on-one.
Yes, there is a requirement right now. And the requirement is decision, move. Decision, move.
Absolutely.
Decision, move. This is your choice now. This is your choice.
Yes.
Your choice. Your choice. Did you have final words?
I don't. I just wanted to let everyone know that I love you all and understand that what I've said today, I've said in love, and it's for genuine growth for each one of you. I hope to see you again, and I'm sure I will. I'm sure Maria will have me back.
Yes, I will.
She will probably have me back. But I just want everyone to understand and know that life is a gift and treat it as such. Just treat it as such. Don't unwrap everything all at once.
Right.
And allow yourself to constantly be a vessel that the Lord can use.
Yes.
Just allow yourselves to be a vessel that He can use. And again, seek out advice from wise people and accept advice from wise people. That's pretty much what I want to say. I love you all, and please go get a passport and get it stamped. That's your homework. You have homework.
Would you like to close us out in prayer now?
I can. Okay. Father, we thank you so very much, and we come before you today and thanking you and giving you praise and honor for every single thing that you've done in our lives, for crossing every T, for dotting every I, for giving us the health, the strength, and the life that you've given us. We thank you so very much for this particular venue and the podcast and going out into the airways to reach those people that we may not ever see in person. And we thank you so much for the wisdom that you've given us to impart unto your people on today. Lord, we thank you so very much for Maria Elizabeth and for her podcast, for her wanting to do this, to reach out to people and to touch people that she may never know and that she may never touch. We just thank God for your faithfulness in each and every one of our lives. Lord, we thank you and we bless you so much for all that you've done for each and every one of you. And we're waiting to hear from you again and again and again. And we thank you so very much for all that you've done and all that you continue to do in our lives. thank God for you and your son, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I admonish you to go visit my website, www.marieelizabeth.org. There's devotional material there for you. On Tuesdays, I publish Time with God. That's just a weekly devotional. On Thursdays, I publish Perfection Principles. It's a alert to grow up, an alert to growth. It's a call. And I advise you to take a look there. Some materials there for you. If you'd like a Ministry of Alicia the t-shirt, please go get one on my website. We have mugs and other things there too for you. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. And I'll see you on next week. Everyone have a good week.
Bye.